Welcome back to the 2-Minute Warning. Today I'm taking a look at the Tennessee Titans and going over the best and worst case scenario for them in the 2021 season. But before we get into that topic, just a question for those of you viewing. Comment down below where you think the Titans will finish with the Super Bowl ring, with the Super Bowl loss, AFC Championship appearance, wild card round exit, miss the playoffs, whatever it is. Comment down below and you'll kind of hear my thoughts throughout. Getting straight into it though, I feel like we would all agree, if you're a Titans fan, NFL fan, whatever it is, the Titans do have the ceiling to win a Super Bowl. So, of course, the best case scenario for them would be the Super Bowl. And a lot of people might be wondering, well, that's the best case scenario for everyone. Yeah, you may think that, but the Texans aren't winning the Super Bowl. Deshaun's gone. Eagles aren't. Lions aren't. Jets aren't. The best case scenario for them is 8 wins probably. But the Titans that are actually a contending team, the best case scenario is definitely a Super Bowl win because it's realistic. Obviously, like I said, best case scenario for some teams, if you want to get into fairyland, would be Super Bowl, but Titans are an actual realistic one. What would need to happen though is that they would need to show Ryan Tannehill, he's a top 10 QB. I know a lot of people think he is, but he needs to make that statement clear across the league to where everyone understands it. Not just Titans fans, not just some fans. Every scout, coach, GM, fan, front office, whatever it is, needs to understand that guy's a top 10 quarterback. There's no way he's not. Derrick Henry, he just needs to do what he does. He doesn't need to put up 2,500 rushing yards. He doesn't even need to do 2K again. But if he could still just be King Henry, be a dominant back in the league, be the dominant back in the league, they'll be fine. Offensive line, if they could just stay healthy. Julio Jones, if he could still show that he's a top 5 receiver. If A.J. Brown could show that he's right with them. If Josh Reynolds could catch the football as a good wide receiver number 3. Anthony Firkser could do his job. They can show they don't need Arthur Smith. They could show they don't need Jonnu Smith or Corey Davis. That Julio Jones are able to fill all those shoes. Those are things needed to win the Super Bowl, and those are the best case scenarios. The defense, it needs to show that it could just be average. It doesn't need to be top 5, not even top 10. It could just, if it could be top 16, the Titans will be looking pretty. Bud Dupree was brought in to help out Big Jeff. The secondary, that's going to be a big question mark for me. On paper, I like Kevin Byard. I like Janoris Jenkins. I like Caleb Farley. But when it comes to them actually playing on field, that's all different. Kevin Byard had an off season last year. You could say that was a fluke. He'll be fine now, but we'll just have to see. Caleb Farley, I like his potential, but will he reach his potential? The cat has reached, at one point in time was the number 1 cornerback prospect out of the NFL draft. Then he got some surgeries, got banged up, and now he fell a bunch of spots, and there's a risk for the Titans to take him up on. And I like being risky. I like being aggressive. I get it. I'm not saying it was a bad move. And I like Jackrabbit Jenkins, but I'm just saying they're going to need a lot of things to go the right way for them to end up with the best case scenario. It's the best case scenario for a reason. All the cards need to fall in your favor. It can't just be, oh, Julio is fine. That's all we needed. You need everything to be good. Julio, Tannehill, Henry, Mike Vrabel, the defense, the secondary, the defensive line, the offensive line. Every little nitpicky thing has to be perfect for the best case scenario to fall into place. And I'm not saying they need every little thing to win the Super Bowl, but again, to have the best case scenario of winning the Super Bowl, winning the AFC, going 14-3, getting the first round bye, you're going to need a lot of those things to have the best record in the AFC to top the Chiefs, to top the Bills, the Ravens, the Browns. You know what I mean. Come postseason, sometimes it doesn't matter about the quarterback matchups or the team matchups. It's just who has the better day. But in my opinion, for the best case scenario for them to get that Super Bowl ring, they do need a lot of things to fall in their favor. Looking at the worst case scenario, again, because I've had a lot of people say, how could they have this happen to them? This is the worst case scenario. What I say for the worst case scenario is not what I'm predicting. It's just I'm saying if everything goes wrong. If Julio Jones gets hurt again in his 30s, it's just showing he's not top 5. If Derrick Henry takes a step back, if they are missing Arthur Smith, if Caleb Farley is still hurt, if Bud Dupree gets hurt, he has some injuries, if Big Jeff can't do the pass rush by himself. Again, these are all worst case scenarios. I just listed out 6 things. I have high confidence. Not all 6 of those things will fall against the Titans, but that is the worst case scenario. Worst thing that could happen, best case scenario, Super Bowl win, 14-3, first round bye, win the AFC. Worst case scenario for the Titans, I would see 7-10. Again, that's the worst possible outcome pending any super big injury. If Derrick Henry tears his ACL, Julio Jones tears a hamstring, and A.J. Brown's wrist is fractured or something like that. Obviously, this video should be voided and you can't go off these predictions at all. But assuming a normal injury, of someone gets banged up or misses a week. No team has an entire 22-man roster to start every single game and doesn't get hurt or banged up for at least a week. I'm saying realistically, the worst case scenario, everything that they were betting on, Julio Jones just doesn't pan out. They're missing Arthur Smith. Their defense isn't stepping up. The offensive line still isn't healthy. Derrick Henry takes a step back. These are all realistic things, yet not dramatic things. 7-10, again, not predicting 7-10, but if everything were to go wrong, I still feel like 7-10 is not awful for everything to go wrong. I still feel like you have the firepower. Even if Derrick Henry takes a step back, he'll still probably put up 1,300 yards. Even if Julio Jones takes a step back, he'll still probably be a top 15 receiver. Even if the defense isn't what you wanted, it still probably won't be as bad as last year. You guys know what I mean. 7-10, I feel like is solid for everything to go wrong. Again, I'm not predicting 14-3, Super Bowl ring, win the AFC, but I'm not also predicting 7-10. I'm going to guess somewhere in the middle. 10, 11, 12 wins sounds about right to me. I know that's a big range, but they have a lot of variables and a lot of question marks around this team right now for me to make a confident prediction on. Julio Jones, Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill, healthiness on the O-line, on the defense, A.J. Brown, coaching staff. There's a lot of question marks to be made. Hopefully with Jim Schwartz coming in and, change of defensive coordinators and stuff like that, things can step up and they can lean towards the best case scenario route. But that's just my opinion of where they are at on the spectrum as far as top to bottom, best to worst. That's where I think it is for the Titans 2021 season. Again, I'm not saying they're going to be at the top or the bottom. I'm predicting somewhere in the middle between 7-10 and 14-3. I know that's a huge range, but when you're talking about the best possible thing that can happen and a worst possible thing that happened, it's going to be a big range. You guys tell me though, do you agree or disagree? I know there's going to be a bunch of Titans fans saying, how are we going to go 7-10? You're stupid if you think we're going to go 7-10. I'm not predicting they will. I'm just saying if everything were to go wrong, that's what I could see happening. You guys tell me though, like I said, and referring back to the question of the video, let me know where you think the Titans end up. Super Bowl ring, Super Bowl loss, championship appearance, wild card round, missing the playoffs, top 5 draft pick, whatever it is, comment down below. I'd love to hear your opinions, your thoughts, your takes. And I'm open to it. I'm willing to sway my mind. I'm open-minded. I'm not going to be super biased. I'd love to hear your takes. In case there's something off the top of my head I just wasn't thinking of. Like I said, let me know what you guys think. As always, and of course, thank you for watching. 2-minute warning.